All right, we're gonna go ahead and multiply these two rational expressions. So we first see if we have any factoring, which we don't. So then we look to see if we have any common factors. We have a common factor of x minus 4 and x minus 4, so those cancel. So now what's left is 1 over x minus 3 times 2x minus 1 over 1. And now we multiply across. So we have 1 times 2x minus 1, and then 1 times x minus 3, which is 2x minus 1 over x minus 3. Then we go back to the original problem and see if we have any domain restrictions. So if we look at this first one, we do not want that x to be 3. Then we look for this domain restriction here. We don't want the x to be 4. All right. So before we begin canceling, we have to do any factoring. So the numerator is just x minus 3. The denominator has a GCF, so we're going to take out the GCF of 4. So we're left with x plus 5. Then in the second fraction, its numerator just stays as x plus 5. The denominator has factoring by the difference of two squares. So the difference of two squares is a squared minus b squared is a minus b, a plus b. So we're going to write this as x minus 3 and then x plus 3. All right, before I start canceling, I'm going to identify the domain restrictions. So what can x not be? So if we look here, we do not want that x to be negative 5. If we look here, we don't want that x to be 3. And then we don't want the x to be negative 3. So those are our domain restrictions. Now we're ready to start canceling. So we have a common factor of x minus 3 and x plus 5. So what's left is 1 over 4 times 1 over x plus 3. Now we multiply across. So 1 times 1 is 1, and then 4 times x plus 3. You can also distribute that 4 if you want to, so you get 4x plus 12. I'm okay with you leaving it in that first form. All right. D, we have to factor the numerator. So I'm going to go ahead and factor that as a GCF of x. So we're left with 4x minus 3. In the denominator, it's the difference of two squareds. It's going to be 2x minus 1 and 2x plus 1. In the second fraction, it's just going to stay as 2x plus 1 over x. So now it's been factorized, so we're ready to cancel any common factors. So there's a common factor of an x and a 2x plus 1. So what's left is 4x minus 3 over 2x minus 1. Then we have our domain restrictions. We don't want this x to be 0. And then we have some domain restrictions here that we don't want to be equal to 0. So I'm going to say 2x minus 1 cannot equal 0. So we solve it for x. We add 1 to both sides and then divide both sides by 2. So there's another domain restriction. And then 2x plus 1 cannot equal 0. So we subtract 1 from both sides and then divide both sides by 2.